Well, it is the first week of LCS playoffs with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Bjergsen after a tough loss to Golden Guardians in a 5-game series. So first off, Bjergsen, the first 4 games just felt like everybody was speed running. It was so fast back and forth. What happened in the 5th game, and why were the first 4 games like that?
Well, I think just the teams just snowballed off of early advantages in the first 4 games, and we got an advantage in the 5th game, but I think we had a harder time closing out the game against Maokai and Blitzcrank, like saplings in every bush, and there's a lot of threat of getting slowed by sapling into like a Blitzcrank hook. So I think we were just a little bit less comfortable snowballing in Game 5. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of nerves as well in Game 5, and I just think we just struggled to really close out and sync up and actually like take control of the map and just get stuff done. We had good early fights, but we just missed a lot of opportunities to lane swap, to push for towers, to get control, and obviously some misplayed fights as well towards the end on Soul and near our base.
Yeah, what do you think it was nerves in the 5th game, or what was it that led to the misplays?
No, I think we kind of have an issue with team fighting, and especially how we deal with flanks. That was like a big reason why we lost against FlyQuest. Is I don't think we were playing macro worse than them, or really even early game worse than FlyQuest. It was just we lost in key moments in team fights, and especially like dealing with flank, dealing with Speaker's flank, and today dealing with Licorice and Gory's flanks in some of those team fights. Just like how we position, how we control vision to make it harder for the flanker to get position. And maybe less relevant in the very last fight of the game, but very relevant on the Dragon Soul.
What, stepping away from today's match and looking at the split as a whole, obviously a really interesting team for you, first time on 100Thieves, some newer players, reunited with Peter, you got closer there. What has this split been like for you in comparison to the previous splits that you have played in the LCS? Was there anything that felt particularly unique about it or any interesting at all?
I mean, just fun getting to work with new people. Busio Tenacity, Closer, and also Nukeduck as a coach has been fun. I've seen Nukeduck's development as a coach from kind of day one in Korea, where he's just kind of sitting around like, what do I even do? Like, what do I tell you guys? To just doing really well as a coach, having strong opinions, not being afraid to like slam the hammer and say what he wants. So also been comfortable in a lot of ways because of Peter and just me knowing Peter so well. So yeah, I mean, just sucks that we couldn't pull through. I think we had a lot of problems, and we kind of band-aided those problems by playing a very one-dimensional and predictable playstyle and draft. And that's going to get harder and harder towards playoffs when we have so many locked bans. We have very obvious pick order and champions and kind of a playstyle of draft that we're willing to play. And I think to win a championship, you don't have to be able to play everything, but you need to be less predictable than we were.
You mentioned Nukeduck's involvement. It did seem like HunterT became a bit of a different team once he showed up, obviously ending a pretty big lose streak or lose phase. How much of that was him coming into coach?
I want to say almost exclusively him coming into coach, because he really solidified, like, guys, we're not good. This is how we need to win games. Like, this is how we're going to play. This is how we're going to draft. Maybe it sucks. Maybe it's not as fun. We don't get to play like every single champion, every single play style. But it's like we were on the verge of not even making playoffs, so we had to just simplify the game and stick to smaller champion pools. And that's what we did, and that's what really like led us to a 7-game win streak and even the potential to play in playoffs.
What happens now? Obviously, there's a bit of a break, but what do you think happens in between the break or during the break in terms of trying to solidify the team and get ready for summer?
Well, I think we are, and at least our players are, like, aware of our individual weaknesses, both in terms of play and champion pool, that is making us such a one-dimensional team. So obviously we're going to have some talks about that, and we individually need to just shape up and be more like diverse as players and be able to play different champions and play styles. And other than that, I don't know. I mean, I don't think about, but tomorrow my season's going to end. I'm always optimistic and thinking that we're going to go on, so it always comes as a bit of a shock, like, oh, I'm not scrimming tomorrow or like going to practice tomorrow. So I don't know, we're going to have some talks, maybe a team dinner, and just figure out what's next.
Do you think Golden Guardians overperformed? I mean, you guys were heavily favored going into this series.
I don't think they really heavily overperformed. I mean, I think maybe we didn't respect Stixan, who he's Lucian Nami enough, because that was really like key pick for them winning the first 2 games. We thought just switching up our picks and having a better matchup into it would be good, but I think we still ended up making like key mistakes where the Lucian Nami was just controlling the map a lot and like keeping us pushed under our tower and making it very uncomfortable for us. So, no, not really. I think they play very similarly to how they do in scrims. I thought we were going to win, but they're definitely not a pushover team. They have some really good players. And I think also Licorice showed up better than I expected him to today. So, yeah, I don't know. It just sucks, man.
CLG and EG play tomorrow. Golden Guardians will face one of them. Do you think Golden Guardians can beat either of those teams?
Yes.
Likely?
Is likely to? Probably not. I mean, EG's been stopping us in scrims like the whole split, basically. We just like we beat them twice in the final week of the regular season, but those guys are just stomping us in scrims like every day. So I have a pretty high opinion of them. I mean, they play really well in scrims. But I think CLG actually started up really strong against C9, and they could have honestly taken that series as well with how it was going. It really came down to like a couple of key moments. So, yeah, I'm curious to follow the rest of the playoffs as a fan now, I guess, because I'm not playing in it.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Thank you guys for supporting me and supporting the team. Sorry we didn't go further, but I hope you guys still had fun following Peter and I on another adventure, and hopefully Sarasota will be an even better adventure.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Peter and Soren's wonderful adventure in the LCS. Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching that video. I'm going to be heading to Spring Finals, and I hope to see you there. And the whole reason I'll be able to be there is because Alienware sponsors the channel and allows me to do things like go to Spring Finals. So if you're in Raleigh, come by, say hi, and shout out Alienware. And then also go purchase some Alienware products at alienware.com/Travis. Purchase all their products. That, you know, I mean, within reason. Whatever your means are. I'm not trying to get you into any kind of debt, but they got great products. So if you're going to purchase something, just go there. There's a link in the description.